thunderstorm.
Yes, we are indeed. Happy Tuesday, Wednesday. What day is it? It's Wednesday.
Well, I'll tell you what day it is, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
a new guitar day.
Well, every day we hope is a new guitar
Indeed.
day. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, even more important than that, it's new to the world so many years ago. Mike Henderson, it's your birthday today.
It is. Yes. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
46 today.
Hey, that's a good age.
It's a good age.
You start to, it's like you got something to say now.
I do. And it's just me yelling at clouds like, what?
Oh, hey,
brother. Thanks, buddy. It's a day. It's a good day.
In Mimic Woods, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're going to play some guitar. We're just going to kind of hoot around here a little bit. What are you playing on over there, Mike?
Oh, just a ES335. No big deal.
You're a 335 guy.
I am a 335. One very similar to this. A gift from my wife, not on my birthday, but for no reason at all, actually, about 13 years ago. So, yeah.
They say if you have a woman in your life who buys you a guitar or at least facilitates it, you better stay with her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's bought me 3 now, so.
God bless
Keeping her 3 different times. It's good.
My wife was part of a... I'll tell you really quickly. Here's a real quick story. So we had this guitar come in. It was this Fender Custom Shop. And I fell in love with it. I had just enough for it, but not enough to get over the threshold. You know what I mean? And it was right around Christmas time, and I just, I got 2 kids, I got a wife. I just couldn't justify getting myself something that nice. And so anyway, my wife had a photography. She's a photographer, and among lots of things, she's wonderful and very talented. And she ended up getting a tip from this gig that justified it, and it was like about $1,000 tip, right? And so she decided, because she was great. And by the way, I mean, she was just taking regular wedding video photography, because your wow made me think it was legit, wasn't nothing weird. But so she calls up to the store, and she knew I'd been looking for this guitar, and so she ended up getting for me. This is the funny part of it, is it was in that glass case over there, and so Emmett, who just came up and hugged you, was like, hey man, that guitar, it's sold online. And I was like, no. And so he said, yeah, go ahead and pack that up. And I was like, okay.
He makes you pack
Yeah. And so it gets better. I had done a video with that guitar that was on our YouTube channel. And at the time, Chase was working, Chase Baumgart was working in the online side. And so I called Chase, and I was like, hey man, I heard that guitar sold, and he was in on it too. And he said, yeah, it's sold. And I was like, well, should we send that guy this video? Maybe that would bless him or get him excited about it. And he goes, man, nobody wants to see your video. So I was like,
nobody cares, man.
Today's kind of a bad day.
Dang.
So anyway, the punchline of the story is that everybody was messing with me, and I was just kind of bummed about it. And Emmett had it in the back. My wife, Jess, she comes, picks it up, and she's driving around the front. While I don't see her, while all this is happening, unbeknownst to me, I'm up at the front, and another friend of mine's talking, and he had just been out of a relationship, and he was up there talking about, and that's why I'm never going to get married. I'm just staying. I'm just done. It's just going to be me. And then here comes my wife walking up with this guitar case, and I knew exactly what it was. And then he's still telling the story. She comes walking in, and everybody's like, Happy New Guitar Day! Oh. And then he looks at me, he looks at her, he looks at the guitar, and goes, man, maybe I will get married.
Maybe I should find another lady. Should find a different one, yeah.
Anyway, it's nice to have...
Awesome.
All guitars have a story.
They do. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the reason behind getting them. So, I mean, what was the telly? What made you get... You had to have it for some reason. Was it a player or a song or something? Or band?
Well, I'll tell you. So, this is going to sound wild. I felt in my spirit one day that I needed to give the telly I had away to somebody. And I had a butterscotch Blackguard, straight like a telly.
The telly.
Yeah. And I felt like I needed to give that to someone. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and like I argued with that feeling for a long time.
As you should.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. I told my wife, and she was like, ooh, and
give the guitar away. Okay.
It wouldn't leave me alone.
Sure.
And it was a nice guitar, and so I did. And then, literally, someone came into my life and handed me another guitar, which they were like, I don't care what you do with it. You can play it. You can sell it. I just want you to have this.
That's wild.
And then I sold that to fund this one. And this is like a dream telly of
Yeah.
mine. And it was
Oh,
actually
yeah.
an upgrade. So that, I mean, I really feel like it was like a God thing, like that whole thing went down. So it
Well, dude.
was really cool. So yeah, guitars have stories.
They do.
Guitars have stories.
I just saw a band and the guy played a telly really good, so I was like, I better get one of those. So yeah, yours is better. Yeah.
It's why we always say Happy New Guitar Day too, because
do.
whenever you get a guitar, these guys sitting back here behind the camera, you get a new guitar,
Big
it's
deal.
yeah, I always feel like a new guitar is a new sword for a new quest. So yeah, should we play something here instead of just telling stories? Random jams with Nate and Mike. I feel like a blues and G is coming on.
Oh man,
What do you think?
typical.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
typical.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Smooth. Smooth. Oh man, that's fun. I'm getting used to this really cool enigmatic pedal that I'm playing through here. I don't use these IRs too much, but they're pretty fun. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're running direct
Yes.
right now. And running direct is something that I had to be quite honest with you, I had to be sort of dragged kicking and screaming across the finish line.
Well,
on
here
that.
I am, so yes.
I'd way rather have an amp. But that being said, of all the things that I personally have used that I have been able to make friends with my fingers and my ears, is I'm using this Friedman IRD.
That's the one, huh?
Yeah, and I actually have a Friedman Dirty Shirley amp that I really enjoy. And this is it's a pedal version of that. And so this is like as clean as it gets here. And if I put it on a boost, it does this. And here's what's really cool. I do this at church a lot too. So I've got a Strymon El Capistan, and I've got the favorites button hooked up. And you hear how crazy that echo is,
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
And so what I'll do a lot is if I'm doing like a that kind of thing where I've got like a big huge delay, or sometimes I'll do like a volume swell.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And there's a ton of echo and a ton of delay. Yeah, and it kind of makes like a a synthy kind of pad sound.
Are you using the reverb that's in there, or is that just a different
I'm
one?
actually
You have
using the
one?
reverb that's in there plus the reverb that's in the Flint.
It's a glorious sounding reverb.
Well, and if I were to play like, it's a mess, right? I mean, well, it gets kind of.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but what's really cool about that is that if you're doing like. If you're doing like a melody where you're playing something like that, you can kind of get away with it a little bit, but if you screw up, you're going to screw up for a long time.
It's going to repeat about 10 more times.
Yeah.
After that.
So here, while we're talking about pedals,
Yeah.
the Flint, of course, it's got this great trim, which we started with.
That's good.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, Lord.
That's with all that delay. Right? And then the El Cap, which, and then I use this Boss, this is the DM2W. This is the old analog.
Waza.
Yeah, and I like to use that for like a, or if I'm like doing like a, like something that's a little more rock and roll, and I want just a little bit of slap back in there just to thicken it up.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. And then here's the Strymon Lex that I was doing just a second ago.
Oh, yeah. What a great rotary, man. It's essential.
We got to do Bell Bottom Blues
I
at some
mean,
point together.
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, there's that, and then there's the RC booster, and then I got this. This is an LSL. It's their
Prototype, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got the prototype.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty blessed with that.
Yeah, no kidding.
And it's their, but it's the exact same circuit as the OG-OD. It's their TS-808.
Yeah.
So like for like that kind of sound,
It's right there.
it's right there.
It's right
and I got a
there.
little compressor here, I use every so often. Oh, how about the volume? And on that, I kind of like it more on a clean deal. But there it is, compressing. And finally over here, me and old Spencer Tice.
Yeah.
Now working for JHS. We did a
man.
trade, and I traded this envelope filter for when you need to. My best Jerry Garcia
Yeah, I was
impression.
gonna say, it's a little dead up here, right?
I see you, Mark Ritchie. Yep, there's that. Anyway,
Well, that was a good rig rundown right there.
yeah, I know. I just
Seriously.
impromptu. You started asking, I started telling.
It's
There
a
you
good
go.
looking board. I will bring mine on the next venture. We'll have some fun. No,
I feel
that's-
bad.
I wasn't trying to give you a hard time.
I know. Well, it feels like a little bit of a hard
well,
time.
I mean,
a
you know.
skosh of a hard time.
You know.
Yeah, you just didn't know.
I just didn't know.
It's your
I
birthday.
was not
a little bit of
informed.
hazing's in
Yeah.
order. There you
Yeah.
go. All right.
Gift of silence.
But you're using the L cap and
And
the
an
UA.
L-cap, it's a familiar territory. I own it as well, and it's a glorious pedal. I need to really want to hook up an expression pedal with it. Use some of those internal functions. I've yet to dive into it. Maybe for my birthday, I'll buy myself one. I don't
Yeah, I wonder if anybody out there has done anything like that, use an expression pedal like that. I've never used. I just use the favorite switch on there.
So that guy, I'm a big fan of, that Mark Spear from the Khruangbin.
Mm-hmm.
He uses it to give his repeats out. So I mean, he can kind of just swell into infinite repeat and back out of it. Really neat ambient usage of that thing. It's a glorious, glorious pedal. And a lot of internal functions you can use to get it dialed in.
Want to play another one?
Sure.
Play a pretty one. Let's do it. Let's do a pretty thing, and we can be right here. I'm in G. You can just lead, and I'll just record.
How's that one going?
C minor when we get to there. I'm gonna make up a B section here. Is that E flat? Yeah.
Man, what fun.
So Dave McCrate says, which
Man.
Flint settings are my go-to? He loves all the reverbs. Oh, so you're saying like which of the three reverbs and which of the three trims?
Yeah.
So I use, I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay, yeah. So I use the 80s reverb, because hey.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Jeff's over here pointing to my gray.
Yeah.
He's like,
It's the 80s.
no surprise.
what we
Anyway,
use.
I use the 80s reverb, and then I like the 61 harmonic, which is the first one up there. And so the difference is this is the one I like right here. Hold on a second. That 61 harmonic has that really cool throbby, borderline univibe. You know. But if you change it to the 63 tube with the flick of a switch, a little more undulating, but doesn't have that kind of growly throb. And then the 65 photocell, that one is,
A little more
I don't know if
angular.
this is, yeah, you know what that one always reminds me of? Of that Smith's tune, is it How Soon Is Now? You know, and it's got that kind of thing.
Yes.
But I like the 61 harmonic and I like the 80s verb. I got my intensity on the tremolo at noon. The speed is like at just above 9 o'clock. On the reverb, I've got mix at about 11. Yeah. And then color is at about 1 and decay is at about 1. So there you go. Dave, excellent question. Dave McCrate, good guy. Ask Dave how that LSL is doing him. There you go. All right. You gonna play another one?
Yeah. Maybe an A, something like that?
Yeah,
I'll
you
go.
pick. You pick
can
one. You
follow
start.
him,
Yeah.
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 Muppets ending. Oh yeah.
Nice. What was that you started off?
What? Just
Well,
now?
yeah, that
Oh,
tune.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
I think it was an old song, "Time for Trouble," that my buddy wrote. That.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And I realized halfway through I couldn't remember the rest of it, so I stopped.
It's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Bo Brown.
I was. It's funny. I was just in a. We were doing a chords and coffee with Randy, and we were playing this tune that I was. I don't really. You know what's funny is I don't know that I play anything verbatim.
Oh no. I have a
And-
hard time with that.
Yeah,
I
I've
really do.
And I'd be curious what the general consensus is out there because maybe there's a few things like I mean, like for example, like if I'm playing Jeff Beck because we've ended his lovers, like that head of that tune,
Oh, yeah.
that has to be like because if it's not that, then it's not that tune, right? But then when it gets to the solo, like I feel like you should just go and just do your thing because that's
Yeah.
why you're there, you
Yeah.
know, unless you're doing a Jeff Beck recital, right?
Well, sure.
But Randy was saying that he was playing a show with Merle Travis. Like he was
The Mer-
the,
yeah.
Mer- the
Okay,
Merle
yeah.
Travis, and he said that you know, of course, you know, there's probably nerves when something like that's going down.
imagine.
Yeah,
I'd
and so he said, you know, Merle, you know, how did I do, or you know, am I playing this right, or something to that effect? And he said, man, you play it like you play it. You know, I already know how I play it. You know,
Yeah.
you know, and he was. It's an interesting idea. You know,
encouraging, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think it's important to learn things for the sake of learning the technique, for learning the musicality, but also I think that it can't be overlooked that it's important at some point for you to stand up and have your own thoughts
Absolutely.
as opposed, you know, because sometimes we get guilty of just regurgitating the musical talking points
Mm-hmm.
without taking the time to formulate our own ideas. Am I preaching this morning?
No,
or
you're,
what?
you're preaching the truth, but it's also just playing the part. I mean, that's the job as any good
Yeah, yeah.
players. Whether the part is note for note or do you,
Right.
That's always the right thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I prefer my own twist on a lot of stuff too, but again, it depends on the gig and yeah.
Yeah,
I used to
absolutely.
do my own thing to make up for the fact that I couldn't play it like the actual guy, though. And then eventually you're like, well, sort it out, dummy. And then you'll get it figured out. And then know when to deviate. Sometimes you got to know the rules before you can break them. Am I preaching now? This is my
That's
birthday?
right,
What am I
that's
even
right.
doing here?
Hey, the spirit of prophecy is running loose.
Well, here we are. What do we got now? Should we play something?
Yeah. A little something. I don't know. You want to do another one, or do you want me to make something up real quick?
I don't know, make something up. I don't. Whatever we got. We're just flying by the seat of our pants here.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this. Strymon thing, and I'm gonna be all ethereal, and then maybe you could do some ethereal, pretty stuff over the top of it.
Okay.
And let's see. I kind of want to throw you a little bit of a curveball just to make it interesting.
Well, that sounds scary.
Key of F.
Oh boy. F.
F's okay. Come
F.
on.
It's F is for fine. It's it's fine.
All right, let's see here. See what I did there?
Expecting that one. You did something.
what I was talking about. If you mess up, you mess up for a long time. Here comes curveball.
F.
The ambient sounds of Mike and Nate.
Oh man, ambient.
That'd be fun to like be in a restaurant and just play ambient stuff in the background while people eat and drink coffee and ignore you.
Even though I'm usually singing when people do that, I feel pretty ambient, like they're not really paying attention. So
Yeah.
I do that all the time. It's great.
Yeah. It's a funny thing.
How's your steak? Yes. Don't clap with your mouth full. Wait, yeah, I guess you can.
There's a guy named Bill Frisell, who's a jazz telly player, and he gets in that kind of world of lots of ambient kind of stuff like that. And I really like it when, especially in a trio or a small ensemble, when you can get kind of out there like that and create that kind of atmospheric thing that just feels like it's a little dangerous, because when you play with that much reverb and that much delay, it's hard to be tight. You know what I mean? Like, but it's also like, again, if you mess up, play the wrong thing, it's out there forever, right?
Unless you turn it off real quick.
And even then, that sounds worse. 'Cause
Yeah.
It sounds like all of a sudden you were floating in space, you got sucked into the vacuum of a linoleum floor on a kitchen in 1950, and then back into space again.
Well,
Yeah.
It's all part of the ride, man. That's right. It's all part of the ride. Yeah.
Should we do one more and hit the road? All right. Last one.
Okay.
Let's do one for Greg back there.
Oh man.
Let's see. Greg, you got any requests? Greg Rosander, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't watched Wake Up with Greg, you need to watch Wake
You're
Up
missing
with Greg.
out.
Yep. You're
Sunny
missing out.
side of the street.
Grab your
On a
coat,
gloomy day like this.
get your
That's a good call.
You know what? We could do Ain't No Sunshine.
Sunny side of the street.
Ain't no, sunny side and there ain't no sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Ain't no sunshine
But
on
there-
that side of the street.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know that one?
Yeah, Bill?
Yeah, you gonna kick that one off? Go ahead, play the lead. I got the chord. E minor. Do it again. No, no. I know. Can you imagine being Bill Withers in the recording studio going, now right here, when we get to this part right here, I don't know what I sing, but I know. Leave a young thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Go ahead, Mike.
I know, 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 I know.